What is the fastest way room of happy people turned sour you've witnessed? Someone admitted that they took advantage of a very, very drunk woman in a game of Never Have I Ever. For us, it was Never Have I Ever Been Raped. I don't remember if anyone drank, but the question in itself was awkward enough. In our defense, it was Never Have I Ever Had Sex. We were socially awkward virgins, and my new friend, very soon to be ex-friend, I invited, was like, does it count if you sort of took advantage of them? And then went into detail about him clearly date raping a girl he offered to walk home. I'd decay if he was used to frat parties where a story like that would be applauded, but he was partying with the freaking debate team and we were all horrified. I didn't think that situation could get any worse. In grad school, we were gathered in a room to hear about how the last term of classes in the program was going to be cut due to new law regarding educator requirements for the state. Everyone was stoked because it was gonna save us like $5,000 to $8,000. Then they told us that due to state budget cuts, our total tuition was going to double. Camp. 150 kids headed to an ice skating rink. Everyone laughing, cheering, having fun. Sitting on school buses for 2 hours. The place is closed. Instant chaos, screaming, general unhappiness. Took us back the next day, but still the angriest I've ever seen. 150 kids. How did nobody check before arranging transport for 150 kids? Probably one person responsible for the venue and one for transportation, with neither communicating properly to each other. Was on a team about 15 people for a special project for a regional internet service provider. During the bi-weekly team meeting, the manager was super pumped about how far ahead of schedule we were due to some new processes we came up with. After about 20 minutes of attaboys, the manager concluded with telling us all we were being laid off in the same tone of voice she used for the whole meeting, issuing a bunch of praise. Most of us awkwardly laughed for a couple seconds, thinking she was joking. Someone didn't quite grasp their management training or followed it too closely. Sociopaths often have that problem. One day at work, we had an hour meeting followed by a planned pizza party as a reward for meeting some safety goal. They'd been telling us all week not to worry about food because they were getting pizza. Well, after the meeting, we're sitting around waiting for the pizza to get there when our boss comes in and tells us there was a failure of communication and no one actually ordered the pizza. If you want to see 50 factory workers go from excited to murder ready in less than a second, that's what you tell them. I work for a company that sent a global email congratulating us all for working hard and meeting a sales goal, so there would be free pizza to celebrate. Followed up by a correction. There would be free pizza for management. The fact that the person who sent out that correction didn't stop himself for a second and think, maybe this will be received poorly and we should just bite the bullet and buy pizza for everyone, is a pretty large failure in management. I could be wrong, but I feel like the kind of company culture that would allow that kind of foresight is also the kind of company culture that wouldn't relegate pizza parties to managers only. That's probably very true. This story took place my freshman year of high school. I was in an extremely small 5th period theater course with maybe about 10 or 15 other people in it. We were a very well-behaved class that acted more like a family than anything else. It was fun. However, one day we got a substitute teacher who I'll call D. D was old. She had short white hair, permanent scowl, and always wore a jacket that looked like a duster. That particular day she was angry and you could tell. She had a difficult time with the computer playing the movie, so she was yelling, fussing, and blaming her ignorance on us. In our class we had several tech-savvy people, but she refused all help because we were too risky. Eventually she gets it to work, giving us the chance to ignore her. Around 10 minutes into the film, someone realized she hasn't said anything in a while, so they look over and see her eyes opened, still, and unresponsive. They turn to the rest of the class who were still focused on the movie, and alerts them. Everyone begins to freak out. People are taking flash pictures of her, waving, everything to get her to respond. Eventually she woke up, yelled at us, then went back to sleep with her eyes open once more. It was the freakiest situation ever, but the good news is that I never saw that sub working for my school again. That's the time to call 911. Either save a life, or in this case, justifiably get a bad teacher fired. We had to work on a holiday, but management didn't, so there was nobody to unlock the building. We waited outside from 7 a.m. until 7:45 and were told that if we didn't get in by 8 we could go home. 7:55 the manager shows up and lets us in. This makes me mad just reading this. She waited, just counting the time, the moments that passed in the silence sublime, the minutes, the seconds that beckoned ahead. And that's when she saw him. "God damn it," she said. This is more of a mild story but still very uncomfortable. It was at work during break. A whole bunch of us were outside smoking. One guy asks my coworker if he has any kids, says that he likes to dress up as Santa for the young ones. So my coworker tells him I have a daughter that just turned 20, and he replied with, "Well, she can definitely come sit on my lap." The silence after that sentence was so painful. Everyone ended up going back inside after that. It was super awkward. Thanks, reading this gave me secondhand embarrassment. Family gathering was going great until the host realized she was missing thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. She started accusing everyone of being thieves until her husband said he put it away without telling her. Was the host mortified? Did she apologize or did the party just end? Lol, imagine if she kept up the act. Reminds me of Batman Begins. I'll want to thank you all for coming here tonight and drinking all of my booze. No, really. There's a thing about being a Wayne that you're never short of a few freeloaders like yourselves to fill up your mansion with. So here's to you people. Thank you. To all of you. All of you funnies, all of you two-faced friends, you sycophantic suck-ups who smile through your teeth at me, please leave me in peace. Please go. Stop smiling, it's not a joke. Please leave. This is unrelated, but when I was little I used to call my dad's PC a Peter cause I couldn't pronounce computer. Well, one day in class I talked about how I loved playing with my dad's Peter all the time. Needless to say, the pre-K called my mom immediately. She had to explain I was talking about playing games on my dad's computer and not playing with his actual Peter. This has me a low-key cracking up at my desk. Too much time on the Peter for me today. Not exactly a room, but our plane landed home after my company spent a year in Iraq. Our company commander previously told us to tell our families that they shouldn't come out to the tarmac to welcome us back because it would be a fucking circus and you'll just see them later anyway stepping off the plane, who are the first and only people we see. Our fucking commander's wife, 3 kids, parents, grandparents, brothers, and numerous cousins/friends. I was properly expecting this to end and they told us we were being redeployed the next day, and we weren't seeing our family, so that's why they didn't want you to tell your family to come or something. Still real shitty though. Bad snowstorm started about 4 a.m. a few years ago. My coworkers and I were texting each other thinking no way would they make us come into our job today, we are non-essential workers. We're all home waiting for the email to go out regarding whether or not our boss would give us the day off. Email finally goes out around 7:30 a.m. saying that we would have a shorter day but everyone must show up for work by 9. So I layered up, cleaned off my car, shoveled out of my parking spot and headed to work on very precarious roads. I got to work on time and was greeted by my coworkers who were all pretty happy just to not have gotten into an accident on the way over. All of the clients and meetings had been cancelled, so there was a party-like atmosphere. Just as we were talking about playing charades, we got another email from the boss saying because road conditions were so bad they were closing the agency after all and everyone had to go home. This was 20 minutes after we had all gotten there. I have never seen 20 plus people all scream "Are you fucking kidding me?" at the same time before. It was absurd and everyone was pissed. I am pissed for you.